So let's move on to the last and the 13th part of section 2, that is the summary, and here I am going to discuss about the implementation concerns, that when the companies try to implement lean or they want to become a lean organization, so what kind of concerns they face, right. So few of them, two of them I have already discussed in the right approach. So let's discuss. Lean business model is gaining popularity as effective production tool, but it's not without downsides of implementation. This means it's actually getting very popular. People want to get lean, they want to get the organization and processes lean, but there are certain downsides to it which we have to take care if we really want to implement it successfully. As more companies have begun implementation of lean, some issues have arisen. And now what are these issues? So planners implementing lean focus on tools and qualitative methods as opposed to culture. So I have already discussed this point in detail in the right path, okay, and right approach to lean. So what happens is that their complete focus is on the tools and the methodologies. They forget that what is the basic purpose of lean, that where the core of lean lies. It lies in respect for people, it lies in continuous improvement, it lies in Kaizen culture. Fine. The lean business model is a total package in implementation, so you should always think about it. While tools and methodologies are effective, true lean value exists in the Kaizen culture of continuous improvement. And the second thing is that decision taken by the management without uncovering the true problem and without input from the members of the production staff. Now this is a very wrong way. If the management is just forcing decisions on the frontline workers who don't understand what lean is, what the management wants from them, what would be the long term goals, so obviously all their efforts will fall flat, okay. True visibility with organization and commitment to practice of Kaizen would utilize the frontline workforce and observe the processes at production level. That is what lean says. Go to the Gamba, go to the workplace where actual processes are happening, where actual service is being delivered, and then you will understand what the problems are, and only then you can come up with the true solutions. You can't take decisions sitting in the air conditioned management rooms. Fine. Then the third thing is that this also we have discussed in the right approach. Don't use one size fits all as improvement methodology. We have various improvement methodologies like Six Sigma, Lean, Kaizen, theory of constraints. So we should see that what is the exact problem, and then we should see which methodology will help us best to resolve that problem. Fine. So we know that the concept of Kaizen and differentiating non-value added activities from the value added activities is a powerful tool, and it has application in diverse ways, but you cannot fit it everywhere, right. So you need to understand which methodology will help you solve the problem in a best way, and your teams should be trained in different methodologies. Fine. So don't just think that lean is enough. We need different methodologies. Then coming to the fourth point, that is, this is also a significant concern. Most significant implementation concern is the disruption of business activities due to systematic change. Now when you are trying to implement change, you know what happens is that your processes go through lot of changes, people are confused because new things are coming up. When an organization undergoes such massive overhaul of people, processes, values, the old ways of doing business get disrupted. It's a very normal thing. This disruption is a positive thing because it's going to get you long-term results. If shedding wasteful and short-sighted business practices produce a more competitive lean machine, then the net gains are significant. So if by just making few changes and just shedding your old practices, you can go in for some engine like lean which has long term benefits, then it's always better to go on for this approach. Then another concern is that lean implementation is costly and long and can be accomplished by significant learning curve while staff of organization is ready to change. For that, what I am trying to say is that you should be ready to provide training to the complete workforce on whatever level they are. Only then they can be act as an effective change agents, and only then they can effectively implement lean into your organization. And then in short term operation, another lean concern is that your short term operations can suffer, but long term gains are well worth the cost, and if management is willing to ride out these short term goals, then definitely they should go in for lean implementation. So the baseline is that if you really want to take a leap to lean, then you should be ready for big changes. You should just integrate the philosophy of Kaizen and continuous improvement. You should train your employees, and then you should see that your organization would definitely turn into a lean organization. So here I am going to end the section 2. Let's look at the lean opportunity questionnaire. So this is not a complicated questionnaire. These are very simple questions, and for each question you simply have to write yes or no. If you think that this is the problem with your process, write yes. If you think the answer is no, then simply write no. So the first one is, are there chronic issues about which customers continually complain? That means, are there chronic problems which are reappearing again and again, and we are getting customer complaint for the same thing? This means that issues or processes are not being improved, they are not being worked upon. Fine. Then the second one is the number of employees increasing in proportion to increase in the sales volume? That when the sales are increasing, do the number of employees of your organization also increase? Then, are there core processes which do not have ownership? This means are there any processes, or especially the core processes, for whom no one is responsible? Then, do you see the capabilities of the team members not being used to the fullest? This means underutilized resources, it is a kind of a waste in lean. So, do you think that in your team there are members whose skills are not being fully utilized? Then fifth one is, do you see a large number of management information system reports being generated which no one looks at? So this means these reports are being generated, but no one is analyzing them, nobody is using them for improving the processes. Do you see teams spending a lot of time firefighting? This means defects have occurred, processes have gone wrong, customers are shouting, there are problems in the market, and most of the time teams are just spending on firefighting. So you have to see whether it is happening to your process or no. Then, do you see a lot of silo issues and teams not talking among themselves? This means that there is interdepartment problems, one department not talking to another, information is not freely flowing in your systems. So you have to check this. Fine. Then comes the 8th point, are there follow-up teams whose job is to coordinate and get things done among departments? So this means, are there like you have special teams whose job is just to coordinate different departments. Fine. Are error defect levels high in processes? You have to check. You will for this you have the matrix set. If your matrix say yes, their problems are in processes, defect rate is high, you can write yes or no according to that. Are there critical issues which do not have ownership, because of which they are not getting attention? So are there some important processes, as I talked earlier, but nobody is responsible for them, so that's why the defects in them is increasing? Do processes get automated whenever there are bottlenecks and hurdles? So do you automate your processes to remove the bottlenecks or hurdles or no? Are there a large number of auditors and inspectors to ensure no defects occur in the process? This means, do you have a huge quality checking team which is checking your processes? This means they are not being done right the first time. So that's why you need large team of quality checks and inspectors. Do teams get instituted to spend time on processes or workarounds? That means, do they have to do workarounds, and do they have to spend time on that? Are there teams to manage and correct customer problems? So are there teams whose responsibility is to manage what the customer problems are, and if the customer is facing any problem, their job is to fix that. Is a lot of the time spent on urgent issues, customer complaints and process corrections? This means that you are producing defective products and services, and lot of time of your team is just being used to fix those defects. Then 16th point is, are there teams dedicated for exception management? That something has happened suddenly and this happens occasionally, so that's why you need a team for that. Are there units within the business which do not have well defined processes? So do you have such kind of units where the processes are not well defined? So this means if processes are not well defined, there can be defect, there can be hidden factories, they could be costing you a lot of money. Are there issues pertaining to consistency of delivery? So this means your products are not being delivered on time. Are there issues of managing scale and growing volume? So do you think that there is a right matrix system which sees that how you are growing, how you can measure whether you are growing at the right pace and what are the volumes? Are there processes or business operations which have become complex over a period of time? So do you think that if you are not drawing value stream maps, so how would you know that your systems are getting complex? And as I told you, complex systems always create complex problems, so our systems shouldn't be complex. Are there products, brands added over a period of time which are not profitable today? So this means you are adding such kind of products which are not required in the market. Are there non-profitable customers who cannot be weeded out? So are there such customers which you cannot weed out from your system and they are not giving you any kind of profits? The 23rd point is, are the efficiency ratios of your business going up? For example, efficiency in banking measured by cost and income ratios. So do you have measurement systems in place, and according to those systems, are your efficiencies going up? 24th point is, are you finding it difficult to manage a large number of products or service variants? Fine, so this is a simple point. Is there a proliferation of channels and products which you are finding difficult to manage? That is, now your products and services have proliferated a lot. This means that there are a lot of products and services and you are finding it difficult to manage those. Is there a dire need to create capacity within your business to manage future needs? So now you think that your business capacity is not enough and you cannot meet future demands. So how you are going to do that? Is your situation something like this? Is your business finding it difficult to survive the cost and competitive pressures of the marketplace? So it's easy to understand. Is there a need to simplify your business processes and structures? This means there are complex processes and you need to simplify those. And finally, is there a need felt for having more flexible business processes and systems so that they can change according to the changing requirements of the customers or the market? So actually, this is the questionnaire which you should use to find out that whether lean is good for you, whether you should be implementing lean in your organization or not.